friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of channel housekeeping. So this is going to be talking about some things that I have going on, some changes that are going to be coming in 2025, just some general things to be aware of that I think are important for you to know, especially if you're a regular viewer of my channel. There's also going to be additional information going out in the coming weeks to people who are on my Patreon, but I wanted to start with this. So let's talk about some things that are changing, some things I have in the works. I am not always super great at regular self-promotion. There are things that I've been doing that I do talk about sometimes in some places, but very inconsistently. So let me attempt to fix that. To start though, and I don't think this is going to come as a huge surprise to some of you, I've made videos through this year about taking a step back. I'm making fewer videos. I moved to seasonal TBRs rather than monthly TBRs. I stopped doing a lot of book hauls. I'm making fewer videos than I once did because I wanted to focus on other things. And I have, in some capacity, talked a little bit about the fact that what I've been doing full-time for a number of years is not really financially sustainable for me at this point, and there are a lot of reasons for that, but I have been thinking about getting a more traditional job and periodically applying to things here and there for the last while, but it hasn't been all the time super consistent, and that is starting to change. So I am now more seriously trying to look for traditional employment, full-time or part-time, something administrative or something in publishing or marketing or book selling. I have not had a office job in 8 years because I was raising my kids. I was running this YouTube channel. I've been doing a lot of things. I do a lot of video production and editing and marketing and graphic design and making thumbnails. I do everything myself. I've organized events. I've done I've done a lot of stuff, but while that's on my resume, it's not a traditional job. And so I have found it a little bit difficult to break back into the traditional workforce after so long. I initially was gonna possibly try to go back once both my kids were in school, and then COVID happened. And then once that kind of calmed down, we had some other family things happening. So I've now been periodically applying for positions for a while. It has been a struggle, and I think it is something I maybe need to take more seriously, go get some professional help looking at my resume, maybe do an internship. Is 40 like in sight? Yes. But am I still open to maybe doing an internship to get me on a, yes, I could. So that's a big change. So what I'm trying to do right now as we're finishing up the year is basically complete the majority of my outstanding obligations to patrons and channel members and various things so that I can really focus going into 2025, if I haven't found something by then, on finding traditional employment. So that is a big change, and it is rough out there. I am hopeful. I'm applying to a ton of stuff. One thing that I found that is sometimes hard is there are some jobs that I'd be interested in that I'm overqualified for because I have a master's degree. So I think when I apply for them, they don't take me seriously. This is a whole thing. So I'm working on it. I am seeking work. I think I would be an asset to a lot of companies that would want to hire me, but I gotta get those interviews, and that is the challenge at the moment. So all that to say, things will be changing in 2025. I am not planning to just stop making videos altogether. I love doing this. I think you kind of have to love doing it to do it as long as I have. I've had this channel now for almost 7.5 years, and I love books. I love reading. I love the community we've built. I love getting to share the books I'm excited about and get eyes on books that not everyone is talking about that should get more attention. That is something I'm really passionate about, and I intend to continue to make some videos, but I do think I need to make space so that I can easily take a position and be fully dedicated to it if and when that opportunity comes. Now, I'll be upfront about the fact that if I do end up working in publishing, which I don't know that I will, I'm applying outside of the publishing industry, but if I do end up working in publishing, it is very likely that there will be changes to how and what and when I review books on my channel, especially if they're from a company I'm working for. And If a company wants to pay me a good salary to work for them, I am more than happy to just not talk about books I don't like. So that could be a change. We'll have to see. Now, if I'm not working in the publishing industry, I will continue to give my honest reviews of all the things that I read, as I have been doing for a long time. So that's one kind of overarching thing. That is going to mean some changes to the structure of Patreon for 2025. I do intend to keep our book club going, and I'm gonna have some conversations with some of my higher tier patrons about what they really want out of perks, what could be realistic for me to be able to do, and whatever changes to tiers have to happen. That is a conversation that's coming, but I am still planning to run book club and do some exclusive content. We'll just have to see kind of what that evolves into as time goes on. I will say, job hunting is demoralized, very demoralizing. And I'm sure some of you have been there, and I'm hoping that it'll work out, that I'll end up in a place that is a great fit for me. But realistically, the income that I've been making from this has been shrinking instead of growing over the last years. And honestly, it's kind of been shrinking on all fronts. Because of where the economy's at, it's affecting everything in the creator marketplace. And I'm sure I'm not the only person to be feeling this constraint that is quite challenging. AdSense, the money that we make from ad revenue on YouTube, has been significantly down in the last year or so. And part of that is because businesses are spending less ad revenue on YouTube. Patreon has been down and a little bit less consistent, again, probably because people are losing their jobs or struggling to find work. Inflation and cost of living is going up. And then that's, you know, I totally understand that. Of course, you cut whatever you need to from your budget, but that's been less reliable. And then brand deals have kind of dried up. Brands don't really want to pay for content in the way that they used to, except for with really big creators or people who have a really big reach on TikTok. YouTube, there's just really not much. It's like, oh, we'll give you this thing to talk about it and you get a free thing, or you could get money based on how many people buy the thing. And I'm like, no. At that point, it's not worth my time. And as it is, I'm picky about brand deals I will take in the first place. It's gotta be something I really believe in. So all of that to say, income from YouTube is getting harder to come by, especially in the book space where a lot of things are shifting from YouTube to TikTok. The way around that is to do more controversial content. That's really just not something I want to do. I value my mental health too much for that, and that's not the thing that I love about making content. And if I'm not loving what I'm doing, why am I doing why am I doing it? So just to give you some context for why I am more seriously pursuing other options, I have been really privileged to be able to do this for as long as I have, because I have a partner who has a steady, great job that pays many of our bills, but my kids are getting older. We have other expenses. We live in New York City, which is one of the most expensive places to live, and this is just not sustainable. So I am actively seeking work, and I am working on finishing out obligations that I have and setting myself up to be able to really pursue that in the new year. And I mean, I'm already pursuing it, but again, as we're wrapping up the year, that's the goal. It's hard too, because I love doing creative things. I've wanted to do things like writing, but I think with the financial pressures, I just haven't had the bandwidth to be able to focus on things like that, because we're trying to like cobble things together to make things work, and it's just not working in the way that we want it to. So that's kind of a big set of changes. What are some other things that are happening that I want you to know about? One is I am doing a holiday box, and most of those boxes are reserved for some of my higher tier patrons who get mailings from me, but I do have some available for pre-order, and these are really fun to put together. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it next year. In some ways I would like to, but it's also a lot of work, and so I'm not 100% sure that it will happen again next year, but I did one last year, and the theme for the box is a cozy bookish holiday. I'm working with a few different vendors, purchasing items from small businesses that are person of color owned and woman owned, and then there will also be a book or arc in the box. And I think I might even try to see if I can do it based on genre preferences if possible. There are 14 or 15 still available as I'm filming this for pre-order. It's possible, because I did mention this on Instagram, some of them might have gotten snapped up since then. But if you're interested in getting a holiday fun bookish box from me, the link to my Ko-fi down below will take you to my shop page and you can find that there. What can I say about it? There's going to be at least 5 items in the box, maybe 6, depending on how many pre-orders I get, because I kind of need the pre-orders to fund paying for some of the items. So we'll see, depending on how many pre-orders. You're gonna get at least 5 items in the box. It will include a book, and this is a little bit of a vendor spoiler, but I put this on my Instagram as well. But I'm excited. I just today got in the mail one of our items that's gonna go in the box from a small woman-owned business. I'm not gonna show you the specific color, I guess, but we have these cute little boxes from Olive Ave Polish, so there will be a nail polish included. The idea behind the box is to give items that will create kind of a cozy, festive self-care opportunity. So yeah, I'm very excited. Last year's was really fun. It's a lot of work to put them all together and get them shipped out because I'm doing it all myself, but that is coming. So if you're interested, that's in the Ko-fi shop. There are 2 other things also in the Ko-fi shop that I haven't talked a lot about, and you can also reach out to me individually if you have questions about stuff. You might remember that back in May, I hosted people for a bookish weekend in New York, which was really fun. I will link the video up above. I did a whole vlog of the trip with consent of the people who went there, and we had a great time. I planned the itinerary. We did all kinds of fun activities, and I am doing another trip in November. It's looking like it's going to be much smaller. There's not as many people signed up for it, but I still think it's going to be really fun. It's focused on literary history in New York. We'll visit bookstores. We've got tours. You can find out information on all the things that are included. And the dates for that are November 21st through the 24th. So it is a Thursday through Sunday in New York City. If you are local and you don't need a hotel, or you can only do certain days, reach out to me and I can work with you on that. We've got somebody already signed up who can't do the full weekend, and so we kind of worked out what the cost would be for the days that they're able to go. But yeah, we had a really fun time in May, and I am looking forward to doing it again. If you would like to find out more information, again, it is in the Ko-fi shop. You can find details on a pinned post on my Instagram, or you can DM me or email me and I'm happy to discuss details there. Lastly, there is a thing that I have been doing since January, and I have very rarely talked about it on here. It's been a really fun project. I have been making a multimedia, interactive, sort of choose your own story reading challenge. So we started in January. There is a written component, then you make a choice and you have a hyperlink to a video that will show you what happens based on your choice and then give you a reading challenge for the month. So what's been fun about it is that halfway through the year, the decision tree branched off into 2 different genres that you could choose. There's kind of a fairy tale storyline, and then there's more of a mystery thriller storyline. And, you know, then the choices you make keep sort of branching off. So by the end, I haven't actually counted how many possible endings there are. We're getting close to the end now. I only have 2 more months to finish and put together, and so I know what the endings are going to be. I have it planned. I just have to finish compiling everything and filming everything for it. But I think there's like 8 to 10 possible endings, and then in between there are things where if you make the wrong choice, something bad can happen, and then you have to go back and try again, and you get a double reading challenge for the month. So it's been really fun. We have a Discord where people have been chatting, but as we're nearing the end of the year, I think what I'm going to do is compile all of that into a single document and make that available to people who want it. So if you're looking for a fun way to come up with reading challenges every month and also complete a story, and then you can do it again and make different choices the second time around because there's a whole other plot line. It's kind of fun. It's been a really cool project. It's been a lot of work and way more than I think I expected, but it's been super cool to see how people have been enjoying it who've been following along throughout the year. So that is also available to you on Ko-fi. There is a yearly subscription, and what I'll do is I'll put the specific links to these items down below because I think that's going to be easier than trying to navigate the shop. I will put a link to the yearly subscription and then you can get all of them at once, or you can just check out the first one that I did and see if you're interested and keep going with it. I'm going to do a discount on the yearly subscription because we're so far into it now, but there's a lot of content and I was making content over the summer as I was traveling. So there's a lot of fun little hidden things in this project I've been working on all year that has been really cool, and I have not been good about talking about it on here. I think I mentioned it a few times and that's kind of it. So if you didn't know this is a thing I've been doing, this is also a thing that I've been doing. If you're interested, the link is down below. It's been an interesting year. I've been doing some more creative things that have been really cool, even if they've been a little more ambitious than I realized they were going to be at the beginning of the year, but I'm happy that I've been completing it. We've only got 2 months left of that Choose Your Story reading challenge for the year, and I have it all mapped out, so I know exactly what's going to happen. I just have to put it all together. It's been fun. You know, not always the highest production value maybe because it's just me. Maybe there was one month my kids were home and they wanted to help, so they were in a couple of videos. So yeah, it's been fun. But I think that's pretty much it. In terms of the Mass Effect read along, that's gonna continue. Even if I get a full-time job, I don't see why that wouldn't continue. I will keep reading, even if I'm reading less than I do at the moment. Patron and channel member book club will continue, the Mass Effect read-along will continue, and I have other read-alongs that I would like to do next year that I will probably make space for. Like I want to do the final Realm of the Elderlings series that I haven't read yet next year. So that is what's going on with me. Please send me all of your good wishes and good vibes for finding a great job that I enjoy, where I can use the skills that I have. And if you are in New York and you happen to know of something, please feel free to reach out because I'm open to things in administration, marketing, publishing more broadly. I'm definitely open. I was a research project manager before I was a YouTuber, so I do have some of that experience. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. For your question of the day, let me know what are some of your goals for the forthcoming year, things that are changing for you, things that you want to work on, things you want to do. I've had a lot of things that have been changing in my personal life, some of which I talk about on here, some of which I don't. I do think that the bigger the channel has gotten, the less I talk about everything, but talk to me in the comments down below. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.